Now let me take you to the exam content outline, which is most important part of it, which no one look at it without going to it. So I started with my first part, manage the conflict. We have three domains of the exam: people, process, and business environment. Process is still 50%, people 42, and 8% as the OPA. Look, if I start with the people one, the first domain, which is what manage conflict. So interpret the source and stage of conflict. If you guys remember, I started my session today with the same thing, that understand what is your level of conflict, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. Analyze the context for the conflict so you can use conflict management techniques, avoid withdrawals to our force or collaborate. And then provide a solution. If nothing is happening, you can go for arbitration. Conflicts are the lead a team, which means set a clear vision and mission. The team development teams, forming team. So everyone should have that thing. Like in some trainings, I used to say that development team means you have to tell the team what we are expecting from you and what you will get against the performances. Support diversity and inclusion, which means when you are, this is the first part or first topic of the resource management. When the project manager is going to hire the team, he should know the cultural differences, he should know their location, the geographical environment, everything. So he can relate the team accordingly and he can distribute the team accordingly. You have to be a facilitator when you're working in HR, the servant leadership, put yourself second. For sure, you cannot apply the same leadership to all, so you have to go with directive or collaborative accordingly. Inspire the team by your motivations. Like if I don't want to take it towards me, like I keep inspiring you, that I keep passing the exam and I keep doing whatever in my busy time, by doing so many things, still I'm able to pass the exams. So yeah, inspire the team. So you can use the inspirational leadership, and you can use your we call it build a rapport, in front of the audience, the stakeholders. We call it NLP, non-linguistic programming. It's a part of risk, but something like this, non-linguistic programming, NLP. With the help of this, we build your rapport. Like you are not lying. Everything is based on honesty. So people will trust on you, whatever you will say, whatever you will negotiate, because they know you are not lying. Analyze team members and stakeholder influence. The stakeholder cubes, you can use silence cube or stakeholder cubes. Distinguish various options to lead various team members and stakeholders, which means use the emotional intelligence. Do not treat everyone with the same style. Support team performances, the development team, the Maslow, the Herzberg, XYZ expectancy achievement theories, development forming, strong normal performing, and journaling. For sure, you have to collect the feedback and verify the performance improvement. Even after the training, a person is not improving, so there is nothing. So adjourn, or first give him a notice and then adjourn. Empower team and stakeholders, which means arrange the team, the cross-functional team accordingly. The generalizing specialist, they should have a team leader. We call it coach or scrum master. People think that a scrum master is a separate guy. Sometimes scrum master, or majority of the time, scrum master is one of the team members, and we keep rotating it. 1 week you are the in one iteration, one person is a scrum master, in next iteration next. So delegations and the rotation of the scrum master responsibilities will keep going through towards the other parts. And then keep checking who is performing well in your team, like we call it self-organizing team. Determine the level of decision-making authority, create a race metrics, whether you are working in agile or predictive. Who is responsible, who is to be consulted, who is accountable, and who needs to be informed. Ensure team members are adequately trained. As I said before, you are acquiring them. Make sure that the day you need them on the project, they already have that training done. Sometimes in agile, we do the sprints or the iterations to provide the training to the staff. We have architectural spike and we have the risk-based spike. Risk-based spike, we don't know how much risk is involved, so we learn an iteration to find out how much risk is involved, which help us to decide whether to do the project or the user story run, or if we are doing how much risk analysis we need. Architectural spike, that do we have the abilities to perform this sprint or not? If not, then we need to hire an external resource or something. So find a training. Training could be on-site, off-site. Training could be a virtual by using cloud or Coursera or Udemy or something. allocate resources for training, and then for sure you have to measure the KPIs, set the KPIs that before training it was the KPI, and after the training, what improvements the trainings have brought them, what change in their performances and attitude came after the training. Build a team. When you are building the team, appraise the stakeholder skills, which means empower them, guide them, respect them. Continuously assess the team skills to meet project needs. Like if someone needs something and you are sitting, so if you will not provide what they need, there is no benefit. Their work will be delayed. So when you are working in agile, maintain team and knowledge transfer. And this is also in predictive. Your role towards professional discipline. Whatever you learn, share the knowledge with your team members and other project managers. As a Scrum Master, team leader, or coach, address and remove the impediments. The impediments which are being told to you from the team members on daily stand-up meeting. For sure, you cannot discuss at that time now. You can, after the daily stand-up meeting, you can call that guy in a call. You can say war room or something, where you can discuss, or in a silent room. We call it a cave. In Agile, we call it a cave, like a one-to-one meeting room. So where you can talk to the person, what is the problem, and then if it is related in your authority, you can solve it. If it is not, escalated to the right level and get it solved. If it is related to the business requirement, then you have to talk to the product owner. So get the things resolved. So any impediments, any obstacles, any blockers. Impediments, the challenges, obstacles, which are the hurdles, and blockers, which are blocking the way that it cannot proceed further. So find out by yourself. As a servant leadership, I will find it that my team should have the clear passage. So instead of spending the time on the impediments and the blockers and obstacles, they should just continue working on their task. Negotiate project agreements, the type of agreements we have done. It could be in agile, it could be in the predictive one. Agreements between the stakeholders, agreement between the suppliers and vendors. Collaborate with the stakeholders, for sure with the help of a stakeholder cube, that who needs to be informed and how needs to be informed. Build shared understanding. Shared understanding means if I am saying something to you, like collecting the feedback, so provide you the vision and missions and then understand it also. Like if I have collected the product requirement as a product owner and I'm coming to my team and I'm explaining something, it's quite possible that tomorrow you can say, no, I didn't mean it like this. So no, you have to clearly understand the requirement. So when you are coming to an agreement, so that's why we use wireframes or prototypes, like sketches, high fidelity wireframes or low fidelity wireframes. So we can remove the ambiguities. So we can have the shared understanding what we are looking for. Engage and support team. When you're working in predictive, you can have the co-locations. When you're working in agile, co-location can be virtual. In both cases, we can use osmotic communications, the flow of information from one end to another end, and it is here and audible to everyone who is in the loop, so they can take decisions. What is co-location? We put all the resources in one team, whether in one room, we call it war room, or it could be virtually. So everyone stays on one thing. Why? For the faster decision making and for the better engagement of the stakeholders and collaborations. When they are working together, for sure they will have conflicts. So define the team charter and the ground rules, so everyone stick to it. And for sure, if there are any things, I have to collect your feedback so we can update the ground rules. It will not be same for all the iterations for so for the whole project. It will keep changing according to the requirements. Mentoring, as a project manager, as a scrum master or coach, you are there to mentor the stakeholders, will be internal or externals. And for sure, team performances through emotional intelligence. That he did 8 tasks, you did only 5. Why? Find out why. Maybe he has a problem, maybe he has something. So remove the impediments. That is our people task. Processes, execute project with the urgency required to deliver the business value, the prioritizations, the can analysis, most analysis, dot voting. So prioritize the thing accordingly. Manage communications with the help of communication management plan, that who needs what information, when and how. So you can keep the stakeholders engaged and keep flowing the information throughout the project. Assess and manage risk based on the risk management plan, that what will be considered as low, medium, and high, and then prioritize the risk according to their descriptions. Engage stakeholders with the help of the stakeholder cubes by categories, and then shared understanding. Plan and manage budget, as I have discussed earlier, how to plan the cost management plan and then how to do the determined budget process, how the changes will happen in the budget, how the forecasting will be done, the invoicing will be done on a monthly basis, the reports will be sent on daily basis, earned value will be calculated, what will be the TCPI calculations, when the variance analysis will be checked, cost performance index, schedule performance index, cost variance, schedule variance. So you will do all these things here. Plan and manage the schedule, the milestone dependencies, the story points like durations. As I said, durations in predictive and in agile, we have the story points. But to finish this task, we need 5 hours. To finish this task, we have these are story points, like these are the tasks we need to do. So you will allocate the duration, story points. So the number of story points you can finish in one iteration. You will take it according to your velocity. Prepare the schedule based on methodology, predictive, agile, or hybrid. And for sure, in the schedule management plan, you have already defined it, how the schedule will be updated. Plan and manage quality. In plan quality, the type of quality you need for the project, not more, not less, and then assure it and control it throughout the project. So things remains constant. Plan and manage scope. In predictive, we have the WBS, and iterative, we have the backlog. Integrate project planning activities, which means consolidating all the plans together. So like the project management plan in predictive, and in agile, we have the product backlog. So you will keep determining, will keep updating the project management plan. It's like a live document. Changes are good for life. So you have to manage the changes with the help of configuration management system and change management practices, which means change management plan, change log accordingly. You have to define, you already defined a RACI, which type of change will be approved by whom, who will own the responsibility and accountability. For the procurement, which type of resources you need based on the requirement traceability metrics or interaction metrics and agile. So you will define the procurement strategy, what type of procurement you need for the project and how to acquire it with which type of agreements. Manage project artifacts, which means OPA and EF. So you have to update the lessons, version control system, which is what configuration management systems. Determine project methodology practices, which means based on OPA, which type of project should be done in predictive or agile or both of that and how. So you can recommend a methodology accordingly. And for sure, you will have the lesson learned and retrospect to keep the things updated. Governance structure, the PMO. So you can have the governance of the organization into the projects. For project issues, we have the issue log. So keep the issues and then keep checking how to resolve it and then keep updating the lesson. So it will be for you and other project managers throughout the organizations. Ensure knowledge transfer, which means whatever you learn, there is always a session after the project end. So we can share the knowledge, the lesson should be updated accordingly. So it will help others of the knowledge transfer, whatever you have learned. And then close the project. In closing the project, what we do? Transition. In predictive, we do the transition. In agile, we do the shipment, the deployment of the deliverables according to the job. The business environment, you have to make sure the compliance. Compliance means EF, industry standards, government standards, rules, regulations. You have to look at it because if you are not following the compliance, this was a major issue, which in the previous some people were not following it. Like if it is 8 hours per day for the work or 10 hours per day for the work, it should be followed because otherwise you will be claimed from the Ministry of Labor. If it is the communication requirement, the wireless headsets you are using, it should be licensed, it should not be violating the local laws also. So security, health and safety, the living conditions, like if you guys remember, there are many reports that they are putting their laborers into a very bad conditions. So make sure that project have the compliances. If it is not being met, you have to prioritize it on highly basis because project, if you will not comply with the project's compliance, so your project can be cancelled. So in the beginning, I said project can be started because of customer requirement, market requirement, or government requirement. When we were prioritizing the project, the government project, the compliance project will always be the first priority. There is no voting or there is nothing. No, it will always be on the first priority. When you are delivering the things in predictive, we do the phase gate review that where we are standing. In agile, we do the iteration review, that are we able to deliver the project? We should continue doing it or we should terminate the project now based on the criteria which is defined in project charter. Evaluate and address external business environment change, economic change, regulations change, technology change, market values change. So you should not be doing the project in the same old style. No, you have to update your project management plans accordingly to reflect the modern plan. You will not say, no, I started my project in 20 years ago, so I will follow the same guidelines. No, you have to adapt the latest guidelines. Organizational change, maybe during the project, your organization was sold to someone else, or there was a merger or something. So you have to work according to the organization change. Maybe the manager is changed, maybe the supervisor is changed, maybe the PMO is changed. So anyone is changed. So based on your skills, the management elements, which is in chapter number 3, you have to determine that how this change will impact your project. Actually, if you look at the business environment, what they are trying to say, that because of any change as a project manager, you need to know that how this change will impact your project, so the purpose of the project will be fulfilled or not. If it is not fulfilled, you have to issue by yourself that let's terminate a project because it does not align with the modern guidelines. So this is what the exam content outline, which as a project manager you should know. The questions will only be asked from this outline. People think that it is coming from the book, coming from here or there. No, it contains everything. And I think the way I have spoken, we have covered all the things in our training, in all 5 days or 6 days training, whatever we have done for 4 days training. We didn't miss anything. So everything was covered. You did not miss anything. Everything was taught to you. You have all the things, the material, everything. So that was the exam content outline review with you guys.